Today we will make a cornucopia collage. We begin with a regular size piece of construction paper that we fold in half, and then we cut all of these lines like this on the folded part of the paper. Sometimes it helps even to make a line at the top so that you don't cut all the way off the end. And this is what makes our loom here that we have for our woven element of the project. The next thing I'm going to do is take a darker brown and I'm going to cut it the short side all the way across to make some strips. You can see my strips here. And then what I want to do is take a dark brown strip and weave it through my paper loom. And when I weave, I go over, under, over, under, over, under until it's gone all the way across my loom. Now you can see this one goes over, under, over, under, over, under, over. The second one needs to start off different. So if I went over the first, I'll have to go under for the second one to make sure that it's opposite. And when you see them together, they should kind of look like a checkerboard. So just make sure that you're doing every single one and that it should be opposite of the row in front of you. So you can see I am going to continue weaving all the way across. Here's one of my students working on theirs. You can see it's looking like a checkerboard. Once I have woven this entire piece, all of my brown strips, I'm going to take a break from that and just get another piece of paper to actually draw my cornucopia. And what I'm going to do is start off with a line right next to the short edge of the paper. And then I'm going to turn it into kind of a soft rectangle so the corners don't have to be super pointed. They can be a little softer. Then I'm going to make a line that kind of comes down just a little bit, and it's going to stop right about there. And then another line that follows the bottom, kind of curves up at the edge, comes all the way around the top, and then kind of hooks back in to connect with that one. And I'm going to go ahead and cut that out, and then I'm going to glue it onto my weaving. So here you can see my students gluing theirs. They've added a couple of extra bumps in theirs to make them interesting. And they glue it down, it doesn't matter what direction, on top of their woven paper. Usually I recommend just using some glue right along the edges. This is just liquid glue that I put in different bottles. And then once they've glued them together, they are supposed to cut them out so that their woven paper looks like a cornucopia. Here you can see they are cutting off the extra paper. They can kind of trim it, shape it to make it look really nice so that they have a cornucopia shape right along their paper. Now, after that is built, we are going to get another piece of paper and make some food. Now, this is actually smaller than what I gave my students. I gave them a 12 by 18 piece of paper so that their food was extra large. And we're going to add some food that you might see in a cornucopia. So here we see a pumpkin. Maybe something else I would see is some corn. So maybe I'll draw some corn shapes. Anything that you would find in a cornucopia. And it doesn't have to be just food. You could also do some leaves and some flowers as well. So here maybe I'll make an apple. I'm trying to put my food really close together on my paper so that I can get lots of big food and really use up the space. We decided when we did the food to use paint sticks to color. They're like the quick sticks. And those work really well to get nice bright colors and to fill up the paper with different food. So that's kind of our plan. But basically you want to fill up your paper with all the different kinds of things that you would want to use to add to your cornucopia. Here's a sunflower with sunflower seeds, of course. Let's see, what else could I draw? Maybe up here I could make part of a carrot. You could do a couple carrots. So anything that you could add to the cornucopia as space allows. And some of this food will overlap. So like my carrot, I don't see all, the top isn't very big, but I could always have it overlapped with other food. Here's a little bit of broccoli, anything that I could think of that would work. Maybe I'll put a banana up here. So any type of food that we want to cherish in our cornucopia. You could also do some smaller things like cherries or strawberries or pretty much whatever you like to eat. Once you've done all the food and colored it, we're going to cut it out so that we can add it to our cornucopia. So I would add some color to these with either crayons or markers or paint. Oil pastels works really well too. Like I said, my students are using some color sticks, and I had a print off of different foods that they could look at to kind of give them some inspiration of things to add. So here you see they're adding the color. They've drawn all kinds of different things that they want to put in their cornucopia, and then they're supposed to cut them out and take all of the different pieces and add them to their project. Now, I have a big piece of paper, construction paper. Here is my woven cornucopia, and you can see I even used some pastels to add a little bit of detail to the front of it. And then here are the different foods that I have for mine. So I had some grapes, I have a pumpkin. I made these on colored paper and cut them out. So there's so many different ways that you can do this. And I'm just going to kind of use them to fill up my cornucopia. I'm kind of laying them out first to kind of see how I want the layout to be. I had a leaf here, an orange, another leaf. So whatever you created, and then of course we will glue it all down to our background paper. So here are some of my students' cornucopias that they made that are now glued down to the paper. They all came together very nicely, and here is my finished one as well. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope you enjoy filling your cornucopia with wonderful blessings of food.